Sicha of the Rebbe. We are now learning a beautiful Sicha of the Rebbe about the idea of the journeys. The Jewish people made 42 journeys in the desert. And each one of these journeys was called going out of Egypt. 42 journeys going out of Egypt. We're learning L'chuti Sichot Beit. Huh? Okay, if you find it and put it up, it'll be in Yiddish, so you'll have your chance to learn Yiddish.
What year is it?
What year is it? Here. It says over here, the year is Tov Shin Tet Vav. Matot Massei. Okay, so the Rebbe says like this. The Jews left Egypt. That's it. They left Egypt. They were out. It says no. They made 42 journeys from Egypt. So, but that doesn't make any sense. The first journey, they left Egypt. That was it. The other 42 were going toward Israel. But that's not what it says. It's the second. Right, this is Matot Massei Rabbi. These are the journeys that the Jews made from Egypt. Excuse me. There we go. Got it. Okay. So here's your chance to learn a little Yiddish. Also, people can understand Grandpa. I don't know, Grandpas speak Yiddish nowadays anymore? Great Grandpa. Anyway, I speak Yiddish. Here we go. Ready? No. Am I control this thing? No. All right. So the Rebbe says here, I'll give you an example of going out of Egypt a lot of times. Prayer. A person, when we pray in the morning, prayer is supposed to be going out of your limitations, becoming more and more aware of the Creator. That's what prayer is supposed to be. Prayer is like the ladder of Jacob. And there are even some Sephardic Sidurim, prayer books, that it's divided. Like before Bruch Shalmar, or what it says, this is the prayer of Asiya. There's 4 worlds: Asiya, Yetzira, Bria, Yetzir. The world of Asiya, and then from like Bruch Shalmar until Baruch Hu, it says this is the prayer of Yetzira, and then the blessings of Kriya Shema are Bria, and then Kriya Shema, and then Shmona Esrei is Atzilus. In other words, this is going up in awareness of God. Awareness of God. That's the ladder of Jacob. That's the whole essence of the Jewish people, right? To be aware of God. That's what we're talking about in the morning. So scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. We are now on, here we go. We are now on Gimel. No. No. Here we go. Okay. We're on base. We're on base. It says Avoda Rishon. Here we go. Let's go further. Please scroll down, please. Scroll down. Scroll down, please. Let's see where we are. Oh, no. Okay, let me just read. Okay, ready? It says, Avoda Rishon, the first service we have in prayer is the preparation for prayer. Now he's going to talk about the different levels of prayer, something like the different levels of when the Jews left Egypt. They had to go 42 different, I want to call it levels, dimensions. The same thing is in prayer. In prayer, first of all, you start off with preparation. Haria tefillah is because you're standing in front of God, which God is unlimited, and God is bilti bal gavula bilti tachlis. God is unlimited and infinite. But a person, we are in a body and we are in a physical soul, and especially when a person has all sorts of sins, etc. If so, a person says, how can I stand in front of prayer? Therefore, you have to have a preparation. before you pray in the morning, listen, first of all, if you really want to be serious about Jewish prayer, the first thing you have to do is translate the words. Translate the words, not all at one time. Not all at one time. Start off translating the words of Shema Yisrael. Translate the words of the Shmona Esrei. As soon as you start translating these words, you should have a lot of questions, right? What does it mean to love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your might? What does that mean? Good. Then let's ask the questions. That's good. You have to try to understand the words, even the simple meaning of the words. Simple meaning of the words. Try to understand what the words mean. Very essential to prayer, Jewish prayer, because prayer is supposed to be the service of the heart, not just of your mouth, not just to stand and say these magical formulas, whatever, these mystical, whatever it is, poems. No, the whole idea of prayer is your heart is supposed to be aroused. You're really supposed to appreciate God. In order to do this, first of all, you have to de-emphasize your physical. De-emphasize the physical. Stop thinking about what's going to be tomorrow. Stop thinking about who you are, who owes you money, what you owe, what you're going to do, all of your plans. Forget all that. Treat it as though this is the last second of your life. Right, last second, you and God together. You and God together. I mean, eventually that time is going to come. So you and God together. Right? That's the preparation. First of all, remove all thoughts of your life. Then after that, you can start thinking more and more about God. You think about the words that you're saying. And finally, you get to what's called, Yes. Okay, so therefore he leaves his egotism and he starts thinking about God. Limrodso, nevertheless, where is it? We're still on the same page. We've been on the same page for a long time. Let's go to the next page. Can you scroll down? Is it possible to do something? I was so hopeful. 1 second. Yeah. Go further down. Okay, listen, I'll try. I have to try to find this myself. No, okay.
I think he sent a link to he sent the file to download. If you check your chat later, you may be able to download it without even looking for it.
Here it is. 1 second. Download. Let's see if I can download it. Oh. I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I have to go. I had it before. I did it before. Okay, it's not important. It's been Yiddish anyway. So let's go. Nevertheless, even though a person stands to pray, before he prays and he removes his mind, detaches himself from the physical, he's thinking only about the Creator, that's only a preparation. That's not prayer yet. Now he has to begin to pray. At least when he starts to pray and he says, Hodu LaHashem, let us surrender to God. Let us praise God. In this way, he has released himself from his own egotism that he achieved after, right, which was the preparation for prayer. Now he's starting to not just go away from himself, he's starting to go to the Creator. Now he's going to a higher level, so therefore he's leaving. First level, he left, so to speak, his connection to the world, at least a little bit. Now I'm going to pray. Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to say a prayer to God. But so forget about yourself. Forget about the world. That's number one. Step number 2, now let's start thinking about God, who I'm praying to. Until it finally reaches what's called Shmona Esrei. Tachlit Te'ilah, the highest level of prayer. In this, a person totally is removed from himself, and he's only making requests to the Creator. He's reporting to the Creator about what has to be fixed up in this world. He's like a servant in front of his master. Like it says, God, open up my lips and my mouth will say your praise. So to speak, God, you're doing the whole thing. You're doing the whole thing. I'm just reporting to you what needs to be done in the world. Okay, now let's see if we can get back to this thing, to Gimel. Can we find Gimel? Can you scroll down to Gimel? I'm having trouble opening this up. a little bit further down, a little bit further down, further down. There it is, Gimel. Therefore, Zetman, we see, as in Shmona Esrei, then in Shmona Esrei, Zayin Fran, Tzvei Inyanim Havchim. We say that in the Shmona Esrei prayer, and like I'm telling you again, please translate the words, translate every word. Take 5 minutes a day and translate the words. First of all, start with Shema if you want to, then Shmona Esrei, then the blessings of Shema, the blessings. We see in the Shmona Esrei, there's two opposites. Number one, Bittul B'tachlis. You're totally surrendered to the Creator. It is Gornit Kain Metzias. He's absolutely nothing. Nor Ka'ona Achrei Akora. He's, so to speak, only answering after what has to be said. Like a person who plays, right, a pianist, right? He's just playing exactly what it says on the sheet music, and that's beauty. Then it comes out beauty. The same thing here. And of course, he's playing with meaning, but he's doing what has to be done. The music is beautiful, and he just brings it out. The same thing, the words that we're saying in prayer. The world needs to be fixed up, and we're just saying in a genuine way what has to be done, right? We're just reporting to God exactly the right thing. But on the other hand, and there's no ego whatsoever. On the other hand, because it's Sarachav, we're actually requesting from God physical things. Not only our spiritual things, nor even the physical things. Heal the sick, please make the year plentiful. Pesuki de Zimra, the Psalms that we say, King David, before we have this Baruch Hu, is the Zimra, Ubrachas Kriya Shema, the blessings of Kriya Shema, and in Shema Yisrael, there's no requesting of physical things. We're just praising God all the time. Weil is in Ganzen for sich Metzias, is in was oisketan from Zayin Metzias, because he has removed in the prayers before Shmona Esrei, you've removed all of your egotism. You're just praising God and thinking about God and loving God. Suddenly you get to the highest prayer of Jewish prayer, it's supposed to be in the world of Atzilus, Shmona Esrei, and there you're asking things for yourself. How can that be? Is Shmona Esrei, you're asking for your own physical things? How can it possibly? Says the Rebbe, that's exactly the point. By God, the essence of God, this world is very important. The physical world. The inyan is, mitzad tachlit ha'ilui, the highest level of godliness, spirituality you can get, his kalalus from tzvei inyanim havchim. The highest level of godliness there can be is the inclusion of all opposites. The physical is not the opposite of spiritual, and the spiritual is not the opposite of the physical. Somehow or other, they are both equal creations of God, and by God, they're exactly the same. Unvi men hat geredet, like we said before in several places in a Maimer, as b'makom elyon yoter is the iskalus biyoter. The higher that a person gets, the more spiritual, if you want to call it, the closer one gets to God, the less difference is there between the spiritual and the physical. The more important this physical world becomes. Das is a mayan, and this is a mayan from the Gili Datid, because when you pray in Shmona Esrei, and you feel how amazingly holy and great and spiritual that God is, and then you feel that the highest level of the spirituality of God is only in this physical world, that's uniting two opposites, and that's the whole idea of the future redemption. The importance of this physical world. It's called bringing heaven to earth. Does the vos damal, which then vetzan ra'u kol basar, then it says in the future redemption, all flesh will see the Creator. As get lechek, that godliness, that their hurt will be felt. Veren un oich undem basar gashmi, even in the physical flesh. Hiskalus beis hafachim, that's called unification of two opposites. So in other words, is God physical? Of course not. Is God spiritual? Also, of course not. Spiritual and physical are just creations of God. Why does he create them? Why does he have to create them? For what is the purpose of creation? The answer is he creates them so that we, Jewish people, will reveal God's oneness here. That's what he wants. Shema Yisrael. Listen, Jews. Now God is just our God. In the future, God is going to be the God of all creation. And if we don't feel that, we should know that we got a lot of work to do. Next page, please. Oh, 1 second. Maybe can I do it? Huh? Next. 1 second. I tried my, So it is also this thing. It says the same way it is in prayer that we have to go from lower level, just being egotistical, to higher level, being spiritual. And then after that, we can come to be the essence to reveal the spiritual in the physical world that we personally can be like a holy temple. So it is also in prayer, so it is also in general that a person has to serve the Creator. A person has to be a mover. You have to be going constantly, moving, dynamic. Afilu nochan aroisgein legamri, even after a person totally leaves his selfishness. Unvi hoich is, no matter how high a person becomes, darf veisen, a person has to know, as es is nit noch nit genug, it's not enough. Valagabi a hecher medrega, because in regard to a higher level, hot er noch als a sheiches tzura, he still is limited. He has a connection to what's called bad. Bad means selfishness. No matter how high a person gets it, what's the proof? Can Erzin bring in, if a person can bring from the fact which Zetman in Azulas the Mitzia Sarah, the fact that you can see bad in another person. Right? You're in this world and you become very holy, you're doing Torah and commandments and everything like that, and you're keeping Shabbos and you're learning Torah, but you can see bad things in other people. Oh, that's very nice, right? I'm not getting so much pleasure from the world, but at least I can get pleasure to see other people's mistakes and faults, right? That's a good thing. Says the Rebbe, that's a sign how bad I am. Es is doch bavust, it's known, the mimer from the Baal Shem Tov, as a mensch zet ra and a tzveiter, when you see something bad or missing in another person, as a bavez, this is an indication, as a line farmuk them zelbara, that he himself possesses that same fault. Bedakos al kopanim, not to the same crass, low way, but at least in a fine way. Erdar for Roiskin, a person has to go out, please scroll up, oich from fun, them from his own bad. Men darf halten in ein ton oif mezachech sein. Therefore, a person has to be refining himself, his physical flesh, nit brechen him, not to break yourself. Dorich, by means of, please scroll up. Tinius, by means of fasting. Please scroll up, please. Scroll up. Oh, not by means of making fasts, with sigufim and self, what's it called? There's a good word for this. Self-punishment. There's a really nice sort of word for this. Not flagellation. That used to be a good word. Anyway, that a person does all sorts of punishments to himself and makes himself feel bad. They're really big on this. The Eastern religions, a guy sits on nails and things. Nor a rois edlins, a person has to refine himself. You see something bad in another person, you have to know that in you, there must be that same thing. Refine yourself. It's not that it should break you away. I feel so terrible. V as is bavust. Their mimer of Baal Shem Tov, like the Baal Shem Tov says, Ki terech chamor sonecha, if you see the donkey of your enemy, right, suffering under his burden, you should help him. What's this got to do with me? I have nobody who's his donkeys anymore. Says the Baal Shem Tov, this is talking about every person. Chamor means physicality, chomrius. Sonecha, your enemy, who is your enemy? Your own selfishness, your evil impulse, selfish impulse. When you see that your old selfishness, this is wrecking all of your physicality. Bald vir state, like it says, Afterwards, in this free, as soon as a person stands up in the morning, suddenly he sees Zeter an ein spannen sei chamor. As soon as he is in the morning, suddenly he sees his donkey, the burden of his donkey does taste. This means his chomer, his physicality. Person wakes up in the morning, the first thing he feels is himself, his physicality. Was durach dem davka, which by means of this, ken men sukum and sum giloy del atid. A person, when he reveals that his physicality is making him trouble, is by means of just seeing what the fault is, as vara'u kol basar, then it can be eventually that all flesh, when he fixes up his flesh, then all flesh will see basar agashmi vet azoi fil ois ge'edelt. Then the physical flesh will be so refined. What does it mean so refined? Automatically, you'll feel, what can I do for Hashem? There's some people that they see the world, they think, what can I get out of this, right? Let's take a simple example. A person who's a thief, right? He goes into a place and he sees money. He thinks, how can I get this money into my pocket? How can I get into my pocket? And he can't think of anything else. A person who is an alcoholic, he goes into a room, he just is looking around, where is the cabinet with liquor in? How can I get my hands on some of that liquor? He can't think about anything else. He can't think about helping anybody or what people need or what people want or even what he thinks. A person refining his flesh means that he's not attracted to destructive things. That's already refining his flesh. That's a little bit of the revelation of the future redemption. That destructive things don't play any part in my life. That's called refining. Un ois gelatert veren, and then he becomes another word for refining. Bizer vet zen, until a person can finally start to see the truth. He starts to see godliness in everything. Why did God create liquor? Not so that I would drink it. And not only that, hey, there's other things in the room. Look, there's a table. Why didn't you notice? There's a table, and there's people, and there's a picture on the wall, and there's all sorts of really interesting things. You look at the window, you can see outside, and there's a wind. Before that, all he could think of was one thing of liquor, and then he was thinking negatively. As soon as a person can start to appreciate the wonder of the creation, the wonder of the creator, and then he can start to be a partner with the creation, the creator. God wants us to be a partner in creation. This is already talking about going out of Egypt, going out level by level until we finally can reach what's called Yarden Yerecho, the ultimate wideness. As we'll talk about this tomorrow, God willing. I'll try to find this thing on my own. Okay, I told the story, but I'll tell another story.